Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, Yvonne Kraeher, Leigh Stima, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Leigh, Yvonne, and myself, with the Realm of Beings, eagerly invite you to join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Hello, and welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm Leigh, and I'm here with Gretta and Yvonne, and always the Realm of Beings. We are very happy to be on Transformation Talk Radio every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. You can find us on Facebook Live and all of your favorite streaming services. These conversations will help you examine your life and your creation of reality. They will help you to shift your impressions and understand what you're creating in your life and how it shows up. The quote that we will be talking about this week has to deal with something that globally everyone is so familiar with, and I think we will definitely shift some impressions today about it. So today, we will be discussing the quotation, COVID-19 has assisted in teaching everyone lessons of strength, fortitude, togetherness, and instilled in our hearts more of a desire of peace within our spiritual beingness. Welcome, ladies, to the podcast.
Welcome. Good morning. Good morning, Leigh.
Good morning, ladies.
Yeah, this indeed is a deep topic for many.
Yes.
Yeah, because we've had so many experiences in it. We've had family members leaving us, choosing COVID-19 as their passage to making their transitioning. We've had people that have experienced it, they got rid of it, but they're still experiencing it, in some way or another. That particular, I'm going to call it an entity. That particular entity, regardless of how small and tiny it is, has really impacted us globally, in so many ways, so many ways. But so we look at it, it would be a tendency for us to look at it as a horrible thing, because as we perceive the realities, we would think of it as horrible. And I think what we're doing with that quote is helping people who wish to experience our podcast this morning or later to turn that around, to make a whole 360-degree shift of how we're going to view the world now. How are we viewing this world now? And so I think that, it's an important quote. I know that when we chose that quote, we looked at COVID-19 and we went, oh my God, do we really want to discuss that? But I think that it's an interesting phenomenon, and I think we're going to discuss it from a positive perspective, because enough has been given to support it in a low vibration, because the support has been basically fear, has been the support of that entity. So we're going to, if the audience thinks that we're coming to talk about how horrible it is and that it's done this and it's done that and it's doing this and it's doing that, we're taking a different viewpoint on it. It's not to say that we won't put a little bit of that in there, but we're going to be assisting people in taking a different viewpoint to shift how you feel about this, because this is important.
Yeah.
To shift from this, to shift, because we've been supported in this reality with fear of it, and we don't need to. We need to come back into our inner being, recognizing that we are the force and recognizing that we create the reality. So we don't have to create fear. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to either Yvonne, but I see Yvonne smiling, so I know she's got something to say.
Oh, man. I feel with COVID-19, unlike anything else that I've ever experienced in my 60 plus years, that it is definitely a shift in and of itself. Like I look at what happened over the last couple of years, and it's hard to believe like we're back where we are now and that we all went through that. But I'm just looking at the quote, and we tend to like kind of break it down into like little bite-sized pieces every week. This quote is packed, really packed. I mean, COVID-19, the teaching aspect of it, learning the lessons, the strength, the togetherness, the desire of peace, going within and realizing that we are the force. And this is like unlike anything else that most, the majority, I mean, it's bringing the world together, at least the way I see it, my perspective, because we're all becoming aware. I don't want to use that word, oh, we're all fighting it together, because that just like sort of reinforces the opposite, or something that we wouldn't want to manifest in our lives. I mean, the desire for peace, spiritual beingness, that's where I am. And I feel like a lot of people are on that path now, and it could be because of this COVID virus that made people stop and pause and examine their lives, and kind of a shake up or wake up. So yeah, I think it's a, like, I don't know, like, I'm putting it out there because a lot of people are going to hear this, but in some ways it is a good thing that it happened. And again, I might get censored, but with how could you say that's a good thing? Well, the good piece of it is that it's been like waking people up and having them realize things that they may not have seen before in a very short amount of time. Like it's like almost like a huge evolutionary leap, looking at it, if you kind of look at the whole thing. So that's my little opening take on this quote.
Can I ask a question in relation to this from a creation of reality point of view? Because depending on whom you ask or listen to, they say that this illness has not been isolated in a lab anywhere, like the exact components of it, this and that. And so in a creation of reality kind of thing, is it a humongous example of how a reality was created for us out of something that, 3 years ago didn't exist before? So we were all maybe fed a narrative, and then there was fear that was used to maybe make that narrative more digestible. And so a reality was created, and then a lot globally, we like, bought into that reality in a shared consciousness and experience.
I think that there was definitely a collective consciousness. We can see that it was collective because look how many people were affected, and not just affected in a small group, but affected throughout the world.
Right, like a humanity, like this was
absolutely
shared human experience.
Right. So we fell into this whole propaganda thing. There was a lot of propaganda that went on with this. So collectively, we wanted to hear the propaganda somehow, because if we examine it, and I'd like to say to our listening audience that we come from a focus that we create our own reality. And if we stay within that, then we're going to be all right today, as far as our explanation is to stay in creation of reality. So there are some people that created to experience COVID-19, and there were other people that decided that they didn't want to be bothered with it and were declaring positively, I'm not going to be subjected to the experience of this. So, but others decided at the unconscious level, because who consciously wants to give themselves COVID-19? Nobody. So there are a lot of components to just that. Right. Just attracting that. Notice what I'm saying. I'm saying the word attracting, because you can let it go by or you can let it come in.
That's that entity piece too,
right.
Which I think that was very a strong point that, like it actually, when you think of it as an entity, it is a living, it's a virus. So, right, what it's like, but it is kind of like I don't know, just see it as like a ball of energy somehow, like that you choose to like attract or not. Like you said, I do see it like that.
Right. Some people attracted it to themselves by way of sympathy for another person. And we've said sympathy is a form of fear. And sympathy has a very good tendency. It's such a wonderful, interesting phenomenon because it can actualize the very thing that you're sympathizing in the other person, so that you will experience it. So that's one thing that happens with that. But it's choice. See, creation of reality means that you are always in charge of your life. You're in charge. You don't have to experience anything you don't want to experience.
Oh, Gretta, I don't know. I can see a lot of people lined up out there not agreeing with you.
I know, but see, if they're not agreeing with me, then they're not understanding creation of reality.
Okay.
Creation of reality is choice about everything, not just one thing, about everything. Creation of reality is choice, bottom line. What do you choose? What are you going to bring into your house? Who are you going to let in? See, you can open up the door and let in pain, or you can keep the door closed and said, go to the next house. You can't visit with me today, or visit with me, period. And see, and then we go back to the mental equivalencies. Flu is a type of flu or virus. It's infection, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure there are a lot of other mental equivalency components to it, but basically it's about anger. There's something.
A lot of things about anger, like accidents are about anger.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. When I drive by, and I'll see an accident and I'll say, wow, they were angry, And then when I had my own automobile accident, someone was backing up into me, and I had my mother with me then, and I told her, I said, hang on, because here we go. People were standing around. It was in a small little mini mall, strip mall. I was going in to it, and yeah, I'm tickled because of the message we got from our producer today. So people were standing around there, and they were saying, hey, stop, stop, stop. So, and then I honked. I was honking, honking, honking. People were screaming, stop, stop, stop. Did that person stop? No, that person came right on into me, backed up, and boom. I said, well, here we are. So I got out of my car, and I asked him, as we exchanged numbers, he said, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I said, that's okay. He said, are you all right? I said, yes, we're fine. And of course, I checked with my mom. Mom, are you all right? She said, yes. I said, okay. So, but in our conversation, he exchanged with me. He said, this happened to me last week. Somebody had backed into him last week. So I was there to assist him to experience that again, but with somebody else. And so I realized I knew accidents were anger. And I said, look at that, Chamberlain. I said, look what you did. Because I was writing a proposal for this group of people. And I had promised somebody that I would do it. I didn't want to do it. It was to help these people get money. I didn't want to do it. I didn't even like the people I was writing it for. So when I was going into the mall, I had to go in there and to get the boxes, because how I had decided to package this grant, and because it was going to be handed by hand, carried by hand. I didn't want to do it. I said I could be doing something else instead of doing this. And, it was just going through my mind. Oh, I wish I hadn't said I would do this. I just don't, and I don't like the people. I don't know. I'm telling you, I carried on in my brain.
Building up that resentment, that story, that loop.
Yep, there it was. So he hit me.
Oof.
But it was he supported me and I supported him. He supported me because I was already angry about going into the mall in the first place.
Did you make that connection right then and there? Did you make that connection?
Yeah.
Okay, so right then and there, after you had the accident, you exchanged numbers, you made sure mom was okay, and then inside your head you said, Greta, like, I'm angry about saying yes when I wanted to say no.
Absolutely.
What did you do about it?
There's nothing I could do about it except to say to myself, calm down. And I was talking to myself, but then I started listening to him, and I saw how he created, what was going on in his creation of reality, because it was fear of having been hit. He was fearful of getting hit again.
So he manifested that. He created that again. Hopefully that was the end of that. Hopefully he woke up too, and he didn't go about anymore, not paying attention when you're backing up. That's pretty much what happened, I would suspect, right?
No, the backing up was just the experience from the thought. See, you have to have thought. You have to have thought.
Right, but that's what eventually caused the accident, him backing up and not being aware in that moment of what he was doing. He was angry about something. And
well, I think, yes, in that case, I would say he was angry about the fact that he got hit, but he was also fearful, because fear brings you what you fear. So in COVID-19, the idea is don't fear it in any way, shape, or form. Don't fear it. Stand tall.
It's hard sometimes, though, because I've had this week at least one conversation with somebody, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not going to come and visit you because of I didn't want to bring this," and and so I was like, "Well, I'm really not afraid." And then it started a whole other, like, kind of, it felt like it was going in the wrong. I just said, "Okay, that's fine," like I just sort of ended that piece of it. But yeah, people are, yeah.
But see, you know what? You mentioned a good word that many people will mention, and that's the word hard. It's hard. See, if we, to speak it, you got to think it first. It's hard. When you think it and you give credence to it through your speech, then you're creating it to be hard.
Yes. I agree with that. I'm a very good witness and a very good censor of other people. I can see when their language is not manifesting things that they say they want to manifest. But for myself, sometimes things come out without, full awareness of the impact of those words.
I'm
always
so grateful. Yeah.
In process. Daughter. We're always a work in process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And see, we want to spend the time. That's why we don't have time to look at everybody else's reality and criticize that.
Yeah.
We don't have time to do that, because it would be wonderful for each one of us to be looking at what we are saying, what we are thinking.
Right.
I tell people, I don't have time. Are you going to be angry with that person? I don't have time to give that person that amount of my energy to support them in their feeling down or low. I say that's going down into the rabbit hole. They're going down there with Alice. Yeah, I've been in the rabbit hole. I've been down there with Alice. I've been down there. The Mad Hatter was there at the table, and the rabbit came by to visit. So, and to get yourself up from that kind of thing. But, I've been there, because what is this? This is an experience of wonderful illusions that keep us occupied. It keeps us occupied. We decided that we wanted to come here and experience being humanoid in this particular laterality. Now, some people might not even understand what I'm talking about as far as laterality. We might have to do a podcast on that. But in that particular, let's say, corridor, I'm in this particular corridor, and I'm here to experience things. When I went to Africa, and I tell people, don't ever say this is my suggestion. I went to Africa, and I said, I was about 23, 24 years old. No, I was 23. And I said, I want to experience life. Okay. That was I tell people, don't ever ask that.
That was the seed.
Don't ever ask that. I experienced life. By the time I left Africa, I had experienced everything you could have possibly ever think of. I sure did. And when I came out of there, I was still in some tidbits of it, experiencing it, but it gave me a wallop. It was a wallop. And one thing, it just came one thing after another, one thing after another. And I said, wow. I said, And I didn't even know anything about creation of reality then. I didn't know.
Be careful what you ask for. They always say that. Be careful what you ask for. Yeah.
But see, if I had known creation of reality, I never would have said, I want to experience life. Because there's so many components to experiencing life. The one thing that it did for me, though, is that when I facilitate for people, more than likely, I've already gone through their experience. So
you speak from actual. Yeah, you've actually had the experience. So let's go back to the quote. We don't have too much time before we get into our first, our one and only break. But like a lot of times, our listeners ask for like sort of tools or like real, you said you've experienced. It's a good segue into this question or comment that I have. Like, what can people out there do if, like to promote lessons of strength, fortitude, and togetherness in regard to the COVID-19? Like at this point, now that we're sort of in another phase, because like the person that I talked to, was real concerned about the next wave coming in the fall. Like, what would be something like people out there could do like right now if they wanted to like shift their perspective and get into like a deeper place of peace versus fear over pandemic or COVID-19 in particular?
That's a very good question. There's so many ways of doing it. Some people who are very tied to their religion could pray.
Okay.
About praying for fortitude, praying for perfect health and staying in perfect health. Some people might chant. Some people practice chanting and chanting over and over and over and over again so that they can actualize a different reality. Some people will take out their holy books and read the holy book that fits their belief system to comfort themselves, you see, in a COVID situation, be it that they are experiencing it or be it that somebody else that's close to them is experiencing it. Some people will go into deep meditation. Some people will go into creative visualization, seeing themselves healthy. What we suggest is you can do affirmations. You're affirming your health. I am experiencing perfect health at all moments, in all realities in which I exist. I'm experiencing it. Not that I am healthy, because we said there's a difference between the I am healthy and I am experiencing being healthy. Because the I am healthy, you can be healthy today, and 2 minutes later, you're not healthy. But I am experiencing being happy. It means that you're experiencing it in your totality of your being.
Yeah, it's more dynamic. It's just less,
Right. And then, of course, we give people the QDRs. I release
These are all good suggestions, not only for COVID-19, but, other fearful places, whatever people might be. Death is another one. This week was, at least in my life, I had experienced three people transitioning, which in 1 week was kind of a lot. Like I was like, whoa. Yeah, I mean, it's like probably over in 3 days, not just a week, in 3 days. So yeah, I tried to stay calm and not focus on the fear piece of that. But yeah.
Before we head to the break, can I just ask, this one question about more of a desire of peace within our spiritual beingness. Spiritual beingness. What spiritual beingness? What is that?
I told you it was a big one. It's like we need like about 5 podcasts for this one quote.
Spiritual beingness is who we truly are, going inside of ourselves and recognizing the trueness of who we are. You know, and as we've said on the podcast, the trueness of who you are is the force, that which created all of existence. All of existence. We are. We're not a part of it. We are it. Each one of us is it. You know, and each person in this entire globe, each person is in a different place and position in understanding that. Some people are still thinking of God. And some of us are thinking of the force, that which created not only us, but God itself. So there's so much to that, but that's the spiritual beingness. How do you reach that? You go inward into yourself, not the other direction. Most of us think to go outside of ourselves. Let me look outside. You know, let me view the people outside of me. When in actuality, you want to have a continuous viewing of your inner being.
And that's where we can tap into that just like pool, like it's our personalities and things that make the fear and the, you know, those kind of lesser thoughts. But if we can go in and find, like, tap into that, like, all knowingness, that's where the placidity and the peace are.
Absolutely. Because we've always said here on the podcast that your challenges are created internally, and so are the solutions to the challenges are created internally. But the illusion, Leigh and Yvonne, the illusion is what keeps us focused outside. It's the illusions here. And
take
our belief
the blinders off then.
Yes.
Take the blinders off.
Yeah, take them off. You know, I was teaching a class last night and I told them, I said, your blinders are like this. I said, but in this class, we've been studying Seth. And in the class, you know, I told him, I said, you're coming like this, gradually opening up to the understanding, gradually.
And you see, when Greta just had her, for those that are just listening, she had her hands kind of covering her like the peripheral vision of her eyes, and she started gradually expanding her hands. And as she was doing that, I was realizing that she's letting more light in to her, like physical light, and with that expansion. And I think that's what happens. As we expand and go within in our being, everything is like lighter, less heavy, less dense.
Absolutely.
So, all right, ladies, we're like a little bit beyond the halfway. We have to take a small break, but when we come back, we're going to talk to the realm through Greta. She's going to channel the realm of beings, and so stay tuned. This is one of the best parts of the podcast, so you don't want to miss it. So we're gonna jump off, and we'll see you back real soon. Thanks for listening.
Hello, and welcome back to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. We've reached the point in our podcast, Greta, where the realm of beings share their wisdom and about the quotation we have been discussing today. So let's see if they're here. Realm, are you with us?
Not yet.
Sometimes we have a little challenge and Greta gets a little preoccupied and busy. And I try to give her reminders like, Greta, you need to go now. And then she'll say, oh, yes, right. Yes, goodbye.
I'm trying to fix this light so I don't get faded out.
You didn't get the subtle reminder today. So we might be hearing from the realm of beings. Let's just see.
Oh, Lord, I tell you, this is so funny. Oh, God. I'm doing this podcast, it's a wonderful experience because sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do or what's going to happen to me,
Neither do we. You're in good company.
At the beginning, Greta, see, you created it. You said to Yvonne something about, I like chaos, or I don't know. What did you say about your shirt, Yvonne?
I sure did. So now we got it right.
Exactly.
And so let me go. Let me wipe my eyes. I don't know. I know I'm going to channel them. How they're going to come, I have not the foggiest idea.
That's good, though.
Let's see.
That's good. They're going to come as they are.
Exciting happening on Shifting Impressions.
They will be as they are and very welcome.
Yes. Realm, are you here now?
We made it.
Oh, super. Thank you, Greta, for stepping back just in time. So, Realm, earlier, we were discussing this quotation, COVID-19 has assisted in teaching everyone lessons of strength, fortitude, togetherness, and instilled in our hearts more of a desire of peace within our spiritual beingness. So lessons of strength, fortitude, togetherness, and peace within our spiritual beingness. What wisdom do you have to share with us today?
Well, the reason why we started it off with COVID-19 is because we wanted to assist people in bringing out their spirituality and knowing that they can reach deep inside themselves. Bringing out, let us say, bringing to the front to notice that you are spiritual beings and there's no need to feel captured by this entity, this little tiny little entity. Can you imagine how tiny it is? So that there's no need for this, one of the illusions. You see, when you're dealing with that, you're dealing with the illusion of fear. How much fear do you have of it? How much? How much do you want to experience it? You see, because if you're very fearful of it, more than likely you're going to attract it to you because that fear brings it. So what stops it is your strength in belief of your health, your strength in belief of yourself. Now, it's not saying, we're not saying if you experienced it that you're weak. By no means are we saying that. Somebody could be thinking that in the audience. It doesn't have anything to do with weakness, but there are other lessons. Some people had challenges breathing. Some people had fevers. Each one of those things means something. So it's anything, those of you who experienced it, go back and think about what parts of your body experienced it. If it was breathing, look up breathing. What does breathing mean? Breathing means taking in life, taking in joy, you see. So if you had the breathing challenge, then you can say you're bringing joy to your life was a little rocky, you see. So it showed you things about you. Don't think of it as being something coming to you to destroy you, because you can never be destroyed. That's impossible. Nothing dies. Nothing. Nothing. So, but some people could have used it to bring about a transition experience. But nobody goes just happen chance. You have to decide when you're going to go, and you have to decide how you're going to go. So if you're not ready to go, you're not going. You see, everything here in this experience within existence is create, support, support, create. So that virus then became a support for many people. You know, if you had headaches from it, examine in your books that you have that deal with mental equivalencies, look up headache. It's telling you something. So don't see this little tiny little minute virus as a horrible thing, because everything works for your good. It may look heinous. It may look horrible. It might make you go, oh my goodness. Don't take it as such. Look at it deeper. Go deeper into its meaning for you. What did it show you? What did it show you? That's its purpose. Don't worry about all that external stuff. It was created here. It was created there. People did it on purpose. All of those things that people are saying, forget that. Concentrate on what it did for you. And if you're still having challenges from it, deal with the reason why you have the challenge. Don't be afraid to look into yourself. See, why did I create this experience for myself? See it. Don't fear it. Don't fear it.
Can we also touch on, you know, it says in there, lessons of strength, fortitude, togetherness, and instilled in our hearts more of desire with peace. I mean, there are people that, you know, unless they looked at the news, wouldn't know that this was even going on. So if it, you know, can we talk for a second about if this hasn't necessarily touched you? You know, can it be one of those times where we think like, okay, I did not buy into the fear, and I do have great strength, and I do have great fortitude, and maybe, you know, the chaos that we see that happened could be like the awakening of there needs to be more peace within me because I'm seeing that chaos.
Good thought, Leigh. Good thought. If you are seeing the chaos in front of you, it's because you wanted to see chaos. If you wanted to see chaos, then perhaps inside of you is chaos already, because that's how you perceive something. Your perception is from the inside out, not from the outside in. Everything starts inward.
And that is
a good then you create what you want to see and what you don't want to see. Is that what you're asking?
Yes. I mean, it was another illustration, I guess, an example for us to see what is, I was talking to Yvonne about this before the podcast started. Often we blame our emotional things on he did that to me, she did that to me, so on and so forth. But in the case of this particular example, what is happening to us in the realm of quote unquote disease is also like from within, but we want to say it's a germ, it's a virus, it's a bacteria, like some outward thing. But I think it's an inward, it's like it starts within because of a system that is somehow out of balance.
What do you mean by a system being out of balance?
Like the actual physicality of this human form.
Are you saying the human form is out of balance? Is that what you?
No, I'm saying when dis-ease shows in our life, that is some sort of dis-ease. There is not ease there. There is something out of balance.
It's in balance, Leigh, because it's balancing the disease.
Right. I mean, it's there, I guess, again, to show us something that
absolutely
needs to be looked at within, but not without.
Right.
Absolutely. But many are into that blame of something. You don't want to blame. Our suggestion, because we cannot tell you what to do, but we can only suggest for you to cease blaming others. Cease blaming COVID. Cease blaming it. Cease blaming it for this pandemic, because we with it created the pandemic.
Right.
It's called the collective. It's called the collective consciousness. We joined the collective consciousness with the collective consciousness of the virus. The virus is many. It didn't just one. There were many of them coming. Many. And then they decided, notice what I've said. They decided, well, we're going to change what we look like. Now, scientists have different reasons. They said, well, as a virus becomes older and older, it goes through all these various changes called variants, if I'm not mistaken with my language. You see, so it gets less and less and less potent, But, and then it tells you, on the news, you'll hear, oh, it spreads fast. It spreads fast. So then there are going to be some people, oh, it spreads fast. Maybe I'm going to get it. There you go. Your maybe created the experience for you to experience that entity.
But that's actually us, isn't it?
If you understand that everything is one, then you are one with that virus. And that virus is one with you. Therefore, there's no need to fear it. If we want to bring in the understanding of oneness, there is no separation. There is none. So therefore, there's no need to ever fear it. There's no need to ever fear anything. This virus came to show you how to be strong. What did our quote say, Leigh? Read it to me one more time, please.
COVID-19 has assisted in teaching everyone lessons of strength, fortitude, togetherness, and has instilled in our hearts more of a desire of peace within our spiritual beingness.
There you go.
Maybe it can teach us love, because not
love
fear,
of self. It's teaching us love of self. You know, those three things. What did you say? Strength, fortitude, and whatever else?
Togetherness.
Huh?
Togetherness.
Yes. Look at how the people who decided that they were going to help people who created to experience the COVID-19. There were ambulance drivers, there were doctors, there were nurses, there were the maintenance staff who kept cleaning and keeping the virus down in the hospitals, the people who made the masks, the people who made all the utensils that were used. Look how many people. Look at that. Everybody working together to eradicate that little being.
Realm, we just have a couple of seconds left. Any final thoughts?
Be tuned in yourself. Love yourself. Create yourself and treat yourself like fine china.
And on that note, we will wrap up another episode. So thank you, Realm of Beings, for sharing your wisdom. Thank you, Greta. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you to our producer. And most of all, thank you to the listeners who joined us today and who will join us at another time. So this has been Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. Until we create each other again, be well.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with Leigh, Yvonne, the Realm, and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.